Okay, center channel today. Just wanted to talk about some of the issues that I think we all face, like designing like home theaters and just the way we have you know, things set up. So I'm really talking about like resonances that you can get from center channels, specifically being in like cabinets, you could say, like this. This is something I didn't actually pick up on when I first started EQ in my system, but over time, like you hear like different voices, and certain voices kind of trigger this. And I think a lot of people would actually first think, well, it'd be male voices that do that because they're deeper. It's actually not. It was actually female voices that was triggering this resonance that I heard from my center channel. And like I said, at first I didn't actually pick up on this and understand like kind of like really what it was or anything like that. It was probably a calibration about 2 months ago. And I was watching Three Body Problem, Netflix show, and I just thought I'd watch it in here and see what it's like. And some of the female voices in that show have some deepness to them, and it was triggering this like resonance in the cabinet that I could hear. And I don't know if you've ever EQ'd a system and you thought, oh, I have to quickly go, I want this show to end, or I want this movie to end, then I can like fix this. At first I didn't really know like how to fix this at all, and so I kind of just thought, well, I wonder, like, is it the show, like the way they're tuning voices and things like that? So I started like watching, like, say, other shows or movies, you know. And a lot of movies were actually, you know, done well. But then it came back, and on just another movie, and I was just like, all right, I need to look into this and start taking care of this. And so I was watching some other videos on YouTube, and a couple here from Home Theater Gamer. And well, by the sounds of it, he's kind of been having the same issues, right? He has his center channel in, well, I guess a cabinet. I'm just going to call it a cabinet, right? A component rack type thing. And it's not the best, right? It is not the best doing that. So, well, let's just play a little bit of what he, like, the reason why he's moving his center channel from essentially a very similar position that I have it.
Thinking that, you know what, I want to get the TV, the display, off of the stand so I could put the center channel on the stand. And the reason for that is the center channel is inside of the entertainment stand. That is awful for most speakers.
I mean, just pointing a few things out about his setup here as well is they're not blocking woofers, but this angle I feel is potentially like maybe too strong. Like if this was my setup, I would have definitely backed that down a little. I wonder as well if this could be moved, right? This bar here, because anyway. But again, I think a lot of us, there's quite a few number of people that have this kind of issue, and I'm not. For me though, I'm not willing to change its position. I actually don't want my TV hung on the wall. I don't want it connected either to the back of my unit. I actually want my TV there. So I'm in a position where I have to now come up with a solution to this problem, right? Let's just continue maybe for a little bit when maybe he talks about...
Basically, you're really limiting the potential of that speaker, and the center channel speaker in particular is arguably the most important speaker in the entire system. It's where 80 to 90% of all sound comes out of. It anchors everything happening on the screen to the screen. By putting it down there inside of a little hole, cubby hole, whatever, bookshelf, what you end up doing is having issues with resonance. There's some things you could do to mitigate that. Like in here, I have like some blankets and some stuff behind the center channel. And so that kind of helped stop any sound that's kind of emanating from behind it to kind of stop right there instead of, you know, hitting the wood from the cabinet, which actually this is more like particle board. So it's not really even wood, but it has a finish on it that is super reflective. And so that actually can be detrimental to your sound by...
Yeah. 100%. So this is definitely the problem I've been having, and yeah, I was kind of trying to just think of ways to actually deal with this. One way, though, to sort of mitigate this issue as well is using like lining inside the cabinet itself to stop resonances. But an even simpler solution to this is something I've done. But after watching his video here, and I will link this video, there's another video as well, and I'll link the videos in the description. I'll either link his channel or the videos. But yeah, he's basically designing a new setup. Like, he needed to change things. And by the way, his cable management, his new cable management is really good. He actually convinced me to start working on my cable management, because mine was bad. It was getting bad at the back there. So I now split like HDMIs by themselves, and I have like, say, power cables and speaker cables all together. All of my power cables are shielded and everything like that anyway. So but yeah, it's a good video. So yeah, I was watching this, and like, I was having my own issues as well. So we got to this. This was the next part, right? So he was laying out like what he wanted to achieve, and then the next video is essentially this part 1 video where he starts talking about the center. And I was just watching this casually downstairs with my brother, and you know, it got to this part about the center channel. I paused it, right, like kind of like this, and I said to my brother, guaranteed there's ports on the back of that center channel. So check this out.
TV is off the stand. I have moved the stand out. I have ample room now under here to basically get inside here. So center channel is down in this guy here, if you could see. I'll turn the camera.
So if you can see here, there's ports on the right and the left of the center channel. And this is a Pioneer. I didn't realize this was like I think it's an Andrew Jones speaker. I've seen their towers, but I'd be honest, I'd never seen this speaker before. But I had an inkling that it had ports on the back, right? Because open ports like this in cabinets like this, they honestly don't sound good. And I'm speaking from experience because I'm having the resonance issue as well. Yeah, it's a real problem. I think speaker design wise, for a center channel at least, it is best to at least have ports on the front. Because essentially you negate any resonance coming from inside this cabinet entirely, right? So I'll explain what I got in a minute from Amazon, but so, or shall I? No, I can show it now, I guess. So basically, I was looking on the AVS forum for solutions to this problem, and one of the issues or one of the things that people were talking about resonance was essentially speakers with ports on the back, right? So I didn't have these at the time. I bought these just recently. So what I did was I have like tons of white t-shirts, right, for just working outside, cutting the grass, and it's just my, you know, the bad t-shirts that I can just wear outside. So I just got 2 white t-shirts and plugged both ports, right? And, well, the resonance was completely gone. So I put 3-body problem back on, and it was completely gone. So I went on the AVS forum. I was like wondering like what materials people are using to like kind of plug them. I know you can get like kind of official port plugs, but I was kind of looking around and they were like few and far between. Like I couldn't really find any. If you know a place, like kind of let me know. But somebody actually said like go down to like a hardware store and honestly just pick up sponges. Like sponges are really cheap and they work great. I was like, that is an amazing idea. I'm like, yeah, I have to go do that. So yeah, instead of going to a hardware store, I just did what everybody else does, and that's order off from Amazon. So yeah, they should be coming like today. But the best thing about these is that you can cut them. Like if say one sponge was obviously, it probably will be too big, right, for one port. They're not actually big ports or anything like that. You might be able to cut this in a quarter, right, and fix that. I think my camera's here, isn't it? So yeah, maybe you can see it now. Let me check. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I bought some sponges to put in the back because I actually have other issues with this. I'm not going to talk about it too much today, but my front Atmos speakers are right in the corners, in the walls, and it's like the bass is just astronomical, actually. Like it's too much, right? So yeah, let's okay. Let's open up some calibration stuff here. I'll put the target on as well. So this is my center channel, right? Just uncalibrated, right? And inside that cabinet. And this is without treatment. I guess we'll call it treatment for now. And as you can see, from around 150 hertz, the bass just lifts off. And it's because it's in this cabinet. I think having that much bass would definitely cause this. It's also the ports, right? If the ports are on the front, the bass would be much lower, far lower. So yeah, this is definitely an issue. I have other speakers in my room that are like my front Atmos. They do the same thing, and they may even lift off earlier in bass. And it results in a sloppy sound. It really does. Now, Home Theater Gamer's just moving his center channel, and you will get much better. He's lifted it up where the TV was, and he puts the TV like further back. Like I said, I like the way like everything looks for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like I like this. I like my TV here. I don't want it further back. I don't want it on a wall. This is where I want it. So I have to come up with a solution to this. So yeah, we have insane bass. Honestly, this is more bass than my mains. I've seen results from other people's like EQs and just like their default response uncalibrated. And some people don't actually even have this bass. Like they have less than this. So I'm having significantly more bass, like double the target curve, right? It's just it's not good. It's not a good sound. So where are my other so the Denon, okay, center, and it would have been that one. I'll have to normalize. Okay, there we go. So yeah, this is obviously without port plugs. This was with a t-shirt, without a t-shirt, right? And then when you put essentially plug these ports, now we're actually below our target. However, it does take care of this problem, right? It takes care of this horrible resonant sound with essentially audio going behind the speaker itself. I also have a curtain like him, I wouldn't be surprised if it's very similar to his. Ours is a blackout curtain. I assume his is the same. And it completely took care of the resonance. And I was like, wow, and dialogue sounds clean, like really, really clean, with no resonances or anything like that, or boxy sound or anything. And I was like, wow, you can achieve that by just stuffing the ports. I didn't have to move my center channel. At the time, I didn't re-EQ or anything like that. And I was like, problem solved, it's taken care of. Now, another thing is the way we actually EQ our speakers. Like, what are you actually prepared to EQ is another thing that I got into. And that is essentially a lot like kind of over EQing. Like this this section here, like this is now is EQ'd. And this is with the ports not plugged. Yeah. And yeah, you can bring down the bass, right? And I didn't correct for this. And the reason I didn't correct for this is because when I took smoothing off, I saw that it was actually all coming down here, and it was just a room problem. Around 290 to 300 hertz. And I was like, I'm not going to correct for that. I don't really want to be boosting too much around these areas that I was having issues with anyway. So so it was EQ'd, and even then I didn't want to boost this, but we're bringing everything down. But I still had resonances by bringing this down. I didn't like it. So the next EQ. Is this one. Now you can say to me like, well, it's a little sloppy, right? From say, 500 to 600 hertz. This area around here is actually kind of sloppy. It's not tracking to a target. And what I did here is essentially when the speaker gets to essentially 0. Where are we? Yeah, that was the measurement. Okay. Yeah, I'm just, I don't want to get lost here. So at this point, the speaker is never at the target, right? It's always below the target. And I was like, well, when does the speaker actually become level with the target? And it is around here. I could say it was here, around 500 hertz, and I could fix this. But I chose to just say, look, when it got to 0 is now when I start controlling the speaker. So yeah, and that's what I did. I did not correct for anything that would need too much boosting after all of this. I only corrected for essentially, I just 600 to 500 hertz and up. Now, most people when they EQ, especially with Odyssey, right? Most people will say, just bass correct up to 250 hertz, right? I think a lot of people did that. And or you can go like say up to 500 hertz and then let your speakers do the rest, and that can be it. I think that is not the way, in my opinion, to get speakers to sound their best. And the reason is because tonality comes from 500 hertz and above. You could say 1K and above is where tonality of a speaker really comes to life. It's not this bass area. It isn't. You gain so much better tonality by correcting this portion of it. And I think this old mindset of just correcting bass, 200 hertz, 250 hertz, especially with Odyssey, and I'm just kind of talking with Odyssey, is a waste of your time. It's a complete waste of your time. The reason is because Odyssey just makes bass flat. That's actually what it does. It's not good. And the thing is, it just makes treble flat as well, which again is not good. It has to, in my opinion, it has to drift down. You get a much more natural sound by doing that. Most systems will have treble roll-off and bass gain. So Odyssey does everything that you're not supposed to do. And when I used to have the phone app for Odyssey, the Odyssey phone app, and you know, you could cut this at 250. I always thought it was the best thing to do, but for me, it's not. It doesn't. In the end, it doesn't give you good sound. I'm hearing this, and all I care about is how it sounds, not about some theory or anything like that. I need to know that it sounds good, and it didn't sound good. If you just had Odyssey by itself, with no, and you didn't have multi-EQX here, I wouldn't even turn Odyssey on. It's bad. You can get better sound from the graphic equalizer on a Denon receiver and a Marantz receiver. You can get better sound that way than using the default room correction of Odyssey, the automatic room correction. Automatic room correction sucks for Odyssey. It is horrible. And I wouldn't just correct for bass. You're not achieving anything. All right, you just don't. What, you want flat bass at main listening position? I mean, sure, it'd probably take care of resonances, but you know, it's not an enjoyable sound to have. It's a brittle, hard sound. You know, I just don't want that. So yeah, I like to do the exact opposite to what pretty much everybody else does, right? There might be a couple of people out there that probably don't make videos, but they have a very similar mindset to me, because I don't really see it. And that is, well, I'm going to do the opposite to what everybody else says. I'm going to correct for 500 hertz, 600 hertz, and above. I'm not going to do this. I'm not correcting for this, and I don't want to. I just don't want to introduce any more resonances. Now, with it being plugged, sure, we probably could correct for this, but I just don't know if it's a big deal to correct for. This I don't want to correct for because it's actually a room mode and issue. Now, there could be a ceiling. This could be a ceiling reflection. I think it could be, because everything below this is carpet and soft material. The tray here I would remove. Well, I do remove. Everything gets removed when I calibrate. So to see this is I'm not sure if it is by design, and if it isn't by design, then it's getting cancelled out by something in the room. It could be the ceiling. I don't know. If it is, I haven't really looked into room treatment, but it's definitely now something I want to think about. So yeah, we have significantly brought down the bass. Significantly. That's the, if it was 6 before, that's, you know, 7 or 8 dB lower. And yeah, we've now taken care of the issue. So from this point on is when I saw it zero out, and I thought, I'm going to correct all of this, and it sounds excellent. The center channel doesn't sound as though it is low in bass. It sounds completely natural. It is the clearest speaker correction for a center channel, for my center channel, that I've done, and it has not sounded better. Missing this area here and this doesn't detract from it sounding really, really good. Clarity for me is one of the most important things in a center channel, and reducing this was the port plugin was the way around this. So if people do have issues with center channels, especially being in cabinets or inside something like that, I would try plugging the ports. And what does it sound like afterwards? If you have EQ'd manually like this, you will have to re-EQ, because like I said, I mean, I was losing at like 8 dBs worth of bass. Let's actually check. I mean, you can't really do it there. I mean, I could. 6, yes, about 6. I mean, at that point, it's actually like 12 dB from this point, right? 60 hertz, but maybe at 80 wouldn't be as bad. 3, 5, 2. 7 dB, right? So, and I stopped worrying after hearing it. And again, the hearing it was the most important thing. After hearing it, I kind of stopped bothering so much here. I'm like one of those people that are like, oh, I don't want to see that. It doesn't look good, right? It's not complete. But it sounds better, and that's to me what really matters here. And you get gorgeous tonality when you're following the target after this point. It just sounds so good. Now, for people that want to know how they would actually EQ this, to actually achieve this, so target over measurement. Yeah, I just want to show you really quick how you would do it. So target over measurement. No. And then we get this A over B, right? So same thing as we always do. This is with multi-EQX as well. Let's not put it there for now. Test. So hopefully you can see that. So this is a 7 dB rise at 300 Hertz. Like this is in that issue area. Yeah, I'm not correcting for that. You know, I'm just not going to. So what I look for here is where does the speaker actually zero out, which is here at 622 Hertz. Let's get this as well. So I look for 620. Just want to double check. 622. So I would grab all of this, right, that I've made earlier, and you zero this out. And that is essentially how you deal with that. You would obviously take care of the treble as well in a very similar way. When the speaker loses it, no, actually not here. It's not too bad, to be honest. In any case, I have been... I mean, you could do it there, where it doesn't need boosting anymore, right? But I have, generally speaking, been going to around 18 to 19K on my corrections now. I don't see the point in doing this. I really don't. So I don't actually correct for that. So let's just do that real quick. Anything specific? 19.3. Alright, so we grab 19.3, we take this, and we just zero that out as well. So save that. MQX. New configuration. I'm just going to connect to the sample for now. Remove all this. Import target to center. Test. Okay. So again, I'm not correcting for this. The speaker is just naturally doing this. Is whatever the speaker's natural sound is what it is. This is what we correct for. The tonality of the speaker. So I mean, I guess you could say this is kind of like a double fold system I've used here. Of number one, I want to take care of resonances by not EQing this this area. That was one way of dealing with it. But the biggest deal is port plugging the speaker. Port plugging the speaker entirely removes resonances from my speaker. I put on all sorts of different movies, and I even tested that Netflix show again. Nothing. Completely clean. It's interesting that it's women's voices. There must be that sound. Because I was noticing it on female voices a lot, and I was like, what is going on? It just really did not sound good. Again, I would expect it to have been from male voices, but male voices go down so much deeper. It just wasn't triggering that sound that to hear it. And the thing with me, when I hear something or see something, I can't put it out of my mind. So I had to get rid of this. And, I think some people, including myself, think, well, this is kind of like a half EQ'd speaker. But for me, this is why, I'm the one that's in control of my system. And where is this? That one. Yep. And I'm EQing my system to the sound I like, right? It's as simple as that. What I think sounds better. This is the difference between 5 dB. So these are small still, right? This is audible. This is still audible. This would have happened anyway, right? Or I try and correct for it, which again I don't want to do that. I'm not correcting for sounds. I'm not over EQing sections of my room that are room problems. So maybe you could say I could maybe clean this up from this point on, and maybe say from around here you could even correct it there. I could look into that, but it's kind of weird that I didn't do this earlier. Like, I was thinking about it. Why have I not plugged these ports earlier? Now, another interesting thing about plugging the ports is the timing can change on the speakers. And you've got essentially a sound coming from the back and the front. And especially if the bass is being pushed from the back, and then you're trying to time things, the timing is different. This is actually why I know I'm jumping off a little subject here, off topic, but not off topic, but SVS have their new speakers, and they have speakers on the back of the speaker as well as the front. And I haven't seen the center channel, whether they're doing the same thing with the center channel like that. But I just thought to myself, I'm like, because of this and where I want to put my center channel, again, I'll have to see whether what they're doing with ports and things like that. And if they actually have speakers on the back of the speaker, I thought to myself, I'm like, I don't think I can have the speakers like that in my room. So I have been actually looking for other speakers that have ports on the front. Interesting enough, the version 2s of my ELAC unifiers have ports on the front, but I've seen the measurements from them on Audio Science Review, and they're not good. They actually don't measure good at all compared to these. So yeah, I'm sure there was like a design problem that caused that. I don't think it had good treble, and the bass, obviously the bass will not be as good because you get more bass impact with ports on the back. These speakers, my stands here, they have 3 ports on the back. They're in an open room though, like they're kind of like around 3.5 feet from this wall here, and they're not on the edges of the wall. So having them breathe like this, I don't think it's necessarily a problem. So, but it is it's interesting that these speakers with ports on the back give errors. In this section here, Odyssey can report polarity errors, and I think it's the ports doing it. Because the timing is going to be different between that port bass sound and the impulse trigger. So yeah, it's definitely been something I've been thinking about as well, like the actual impact of having ports on the back. The biggest deal with ports on the back is you gain more bass, right? You do gain more bass. I'm just not sure if it's actually worth it. when you're actually, when your speaker and your system has enough power, and let's say you needed to lift your bass, like let's just say we did have a perfect response or a good response here. When you're having to lift the bass by 3-4 dB, it's okay, right? It's not hurting anything. But when you're having to like lift bass, like say there, I just didn't want to influence this and hear this sound again. Now, again, maybe I could just re-EQ this because the port is plugged. You never hear resonance. That might be the case now, right? But even so, this part of the speaker, I just leave it alone, right? If I can fix this with room treatment and things that I will in the future, and it's definitely something now I want to look into. But for me, this fixed my resonance issue with the center channel, and yeah, it sounds excellent. So yeah, I got the sponges coming. But yeah, you can get these probably from any hardware store. I actually have one down the road, Home Depot, Lowe's. I'm assuming they sell sponges like this. I'm assuming it'd probably be cheaper as well. But that is one thing. Like even $11 for 6 sponges is cheap, right? And you can cut these into any shapes. So yeah, check it out. I mean, if you have old t-shirts like I did, and you do have it in a cabinet, give that a try first. Put on some problematic material that you have found before, plug the ports and just see how it sounds. Do you have more clarity in vocals, and you don't have that resonance around 300 hertz or around female voices? Because it took care of it for me, definitely. But this really all came about, again, from Home Theater Gamer here. So shout out to him, and I'll leave a link in the description for his channel and the videos. But yeah, it really got me thinking, about what is the best thing to do here with this, considering I don't want to move any of my gear. I don't want to move my seats. I don't want to move my woofers, my subwoofers. I don't want to move my speakers. They're in the positions that I like them to be. So now it's a simple task, or not simple task, but it's a task of trying to fix some of these issues. And like I said, I do like to go against the grain of what people would normally think of, and that is, hey, I'm only going to correct up to 500 hertz. In this situation for this speaker, this would be a waste of time, in my opinion, especially with Odyssey, right? And I'm really just talking about Odyssey here. It'd be interesting to see how Dirac would deal with this type of calibration before and after. Like, what is it actually doing? Not too sure. This is again the way I like to do things on my own. What does work? I'm always having discussions with people about what if I do this and what if I do that. I'm still in that stage of this where, hey, what happens if I EQ it this way? What happens if I do this, right? I love doing that. But right now, this is the calibration I'm using on my new Denon. It's interesting. This is the Denon A1H. It's interesting that I chose to do a different style of calibration for a new receiver, because I always I wanted to get my system calibrated before Dune 2 came out, which was a few weeks ago now. And generally speaking, it's not good to try new things, especially when you've got a brand new receiver and things like that. I would have normally done it the typical way, I guess, just EQ the whole thing. But I just felt as I had to take care of this, and yeah, it has given excellent sound. I don't think having a response like this equals good center dialogue clarity if you were cutting off before at this point. Let's say you were EQing to 250 hertz and you were allowing the rest of the speaker to just be like this. It doesn't sound good. You gain so much more clarity by EQing this way, up to 20K, up to 18K, right? Because I know even in direct, like the first one that you pick, I think you can only EQ up to like, say, 5K. You know, maybe that's okay, but I just don't see the point, right? You want EQ from 20K to 20 hertz to 20K, and the reason I'm choosing here to cut off at a specific point is to control this problem. Most of my other speakers don't have this problem, apart from, say, my front Atmos, which again are right in a wall, like you could almost say right in the wall. So they've got the one side of a wall and the back side of a wall, and they're essentially right on it, and it has the port. And like I said, I think it's raising bass even earlier. So I will be testing plugging those as well. Again, to get more clarity out of them. You know, those speakers, those Atmos speakers, I think to get them to sound and track to this, I think you have to like use like -15 EQ on this. And which is nice, right? We're reducing bass from the system in a negative way, great. But I just don't know. I just don't know if that's worth doing it that way. So, yeah. That's the video. Let me know what you think. How have you dealt with center channel, dialogue clarity, resonances? Do you have a system where you just cannot move your center channel or don't want to, like me, right? You know. Oh, before I go as well, another thing to do with a center channel is always make sure your center channel is on the edge of any unit or stand or whatever you are putting it on. Always bring the face, the bezel of, not bezel, I forget what it's called. I'm making a video again. Always bring the front of the speaker to the edge of this, right? I noticed I don't know if my system, my unit is completely straight, because if you get this flat here in the center, my speaker here and here slightly sticks out. But again, check the bottom as well. The bottom, make sure it's flush with your cabinet unit or whatever you're putting it in, because if you push this speaker back, it will be getting reflections off of this now, and you can't. I'm not saying you can't do that, but it's not going to sound good like that either. So you want your center channel to breathe as much as it can, and you don't want these reflections. This is again why I didn't want, say, a glass table or anything like that in front of my system. So yeah, yeah. So that's it. That's really, for me, how I took care of my center channel resonance. If you can look at the response here, it's not absolutely perfect. However, again, we gain great tonality from the speaker by doing it. So try t-shirts initially, and then if you want to like maybe look into other things, either official port plugs that whatever your speakers are, or like I've done, I'm just going to get some sponges, right? Cut them out into the sizes and shapes or whatever that I need them to be, plug those ports, and you do not get this horrible, horrible resonance in voices. It's a heavy, bloated sound that, yeah, it's just not good. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.